So when you're looking at soybeans, you've got the cotyledons and the unifoliates here, and what you have right here are two axial buds, those little pointed things there. Either one of those can generate a brand new shoot. You also have two buds right here at the unifoliate nodes, one on either side. And every leaf axial, as you go above this point, will have a viable bud. Any of those can produce a plant. So what you want to make sure is that at least one of those buds is viable at any one point. As we look to this plant, you can see right in here there's going to be two new buds coming out, one for this trifoliate, which is the first trifoliate, and one for this one. Here's a case in this plant where the cotyledons have been broken off, and already this is a new branch that has generated from the cotyledonary node, and this is a new bud coming out from that same node. So it just happened that I pulled that plant that already has been damaged and is regrowing. And on this bigger plant, you'd have to dissect it, but you can find a new bud sitting right there. There'll be a new bud here. So the advantage of soybeans over corn is that you've got multiple buds above ground. The only problem would be if you cut it off right there. That's a dead plant. There's no way that will regenerate if the hail cuts it off below the cotyledonary node. If it's cut off above the cotyledonary node, something like that, then you want to make sure that one of those two buds is viable and starts regrowing. Give it 3 or 4 or 5 days, and you should start seeing that regrowth. On corn, these are volunteer plants, so they aren't very healthy, but when you're staging corn, the most important leaf is this one right here, which has normally got a round tip. Some people call it a thumb leaf because it's rounded like the tip of a thumb. So that's the first leaf, and second, third, fourth. This fifth leaf had a little hail damage. This wasn't a very severely hailed area. And this is the sixth leaf that's coming out here. So on corn, you want to make sure the growth stage, if it's less than V6, the odds of that growing point being below the ground was somewhere right in here, was pretty high. So to determine where that growing point is, you basically slice open the stem, this small stalk, and section it apart. And that triangular area right there, is the growing point. So literally you can cut the plant off anywhere above that point and still the plant will still survive. See, this is very close to V6 and that growing point is right there. So literally you could cut that off right there and that plant will survive. If it's cut off below that point, the plant will die. And as you look at I don't think there's anything here to show, but when you get over into these plants here, these were from Hampton just yesterday and were affected by the same storm. These are all plant tops that were just laying on the ground, so they're completely cut off. But what I noticed is that as you tear these apart, this is just all leaf. The growing point is below that point. This one, we may see the growing point there. No, that's all just, that may be the tip of the growing point. So that plant maybe would not survive, but the majority of those plants were sawed off like with a lawnmower and most likely will regenerate and grow very quickly. So, the defoliation here is, according to the books, isn't going to influence yield dramatically. The main thing, again, is to look for stand loss.